is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and let's get ready to juice off! Rumble, wait, wrong show. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a juice off comparison between the Bella NutriPro juicer and the Tribest Slowstar juicer. So while both these juicers are single auger vertical juicers, there's actually a whole bunch of difference between them. Now, what I first want to say is that, the vertical single auger style juicer was originally made in Korea. And, there's several brands made in Korea, including the Slowstar juicer. And then China got involved and they started basically knocking off the same technology and making juicers very similar to the vertical single auger technology. Now, in my opinion, most things from China are of not the highest quality. And that's what we're going to show you guys today. We're going to compare the juicers when we juice 2.5 pounds of produce in each one. Also, I'll be sharing with you guys the differences, the specific differences between them. The Bella NutriPro is just an example of one of the Chinese knockoffs. There are now many flooding the market at this point. And in my opinion, while a knockoff may be an improvement, most of the knockoffs in China are maybe not quite as good because, they haven't really gone through the trials and tribulations. They're kind of just seeing what this is, making it a little bit different, maybe hopefully not to infringe on any patents or anything like that, and putting out juicers on the market in the US that people think, oh, I'm getting pretty much the same thing, they look the same. But let me tell you, looks is one thing and how it performs is another. So, that's why I really want to do this juice off to show you guys the difference in the juice created, the amount of wetness in the pulp, and also just some of the different features and design differences between these two machines. So first, let's go piece by piece. First with the pusher. We have a pusher here on the Slowstar and a pusher here on the Bella NutriPro. And this one is actually hollow on the inside, so that means things could drop in there, then you have to clean it out. Might be kind of a pain for cleaning. And let's take a look here. Wow, actually the Bella NutriPro looks like it does have a larger feed chute, so actually that's kind of a benefit, so you need to cut things less. Let's go ahead and put the pushers down. Next, let's go ahead and take these juices apart. And as you can see, the tops, they're fairly similar. Pretty much the same thing. Once again, one of the cool things is the Bella has a larger feed chute, which may be good because you need to cut less, but also may be bad because it'll basically allow you to put things too quickly into the machine. And for all practical purposes, they're pretty much similar there. So next, let's go ahead and pull out the augers. Now on the Slowstar, you can just pull the auger up that comes out the top. And on the Bella, you need to actually pull out the screen first, and then you're able to pull out the auger. So you can see here, the auger is a lot more chunkier or bigger on the Bella here. And it's a little bit more narrow on the Slowstar machine. And another thing I really want to point out is that this is a single blade auger here. It has one blade. As it comes around, it chops off a piece of produce, which is then compressed down into this auger, and then the juice is squeezed out. And on the Slowstar, there's two blades. There's one blade here, one blade here. I'll go ahead and show you guys that again so you can actually see the specific differences. But on this, this has two blades, so it does twice the work as a single blade. And the other thing, because it does twice the work, it's also running at literally half the speed. It's purported that the Bella runs at about 90 RPMs or revolutions per minute. That's how fast it spins. And the Slowstar, it's called the Slowstar, it runs at 47 RPMs, which is about half the speed of the Bella. So in general, lower RPMs means a higher quality juice. So that's the differences with the augers. Oh, in the bottom here, this is pretty much a one-piece molded auger, which means this the stainless steel shaft running through the middle of it is actually all one piece. And in the Bella, it looks like it may be one piece, but there's some screws here. So screws inside an auger, not too good in my opinion. Juice may get underneath the screws and, rust, corrode, and may make it harder to clean. So those are both the augers there. Next, let's take a look at both the screens. So the screen on the NutriBella is quite interesting. It's actually quite large. On the Slowstar, let's go ahead and pull out the screen. So you can see the differences in the screen. This is almost like, this is like a funnel type screen, and this is almost more like a cylinder or almost kind of reverse funnel. It's a bit weird shape. But in any case, the screen here is made out of the GE Ultim 8 times stronger material, and I'm not aware, and there's no advertising to say that this is a harder material. So one of the challenges on the first generation Korean vertical auger juicers was that they had standard plastic, and then the screen did actually break a lot until they upgraded the plastic to 8 times harder. So this screen may have challenges in the future with breakage due to this. Another thing on the Slowstars, I want you guys to look at this. It has distinct 3 different layers of screen material. This first layer has a large holes, and has smaller holes, and then even smaller holes. So 1, 2, 3. On the Bella, it basically just has 2 holes, which look, my untrained eyes, a little bit larger than the one on the Slowstar. So what this will result in is basically more pulp in your juice. Also, there is more surface area of the Slowstar for the juice to come out. So this may also result in higher yields, but at the same time it's going to mean you're going to have a little bit more screen area to clean. So that's a little bit of a trade-off. So those are the 2 screens. So the next part's a little bit different because the Bella NutriPro doesn't have this part actually, and the Slowstar does. This is the automatic wiping blade. So the automatic wiping blade actually goes around the screen, and as the juicer's running, it spins around, and what the job of this to do is to actually keep the screen clean, which may result in higher yields. Also, it's going to make cleanup easier because it's dislodging some of the pulp in the screen so that you don't have to at the end. So that's kind of nice. Let's take a look at the bowls on both these machines. Let's go ahead and pull the one off the Slowstar and off the Bella NutriPro. And on first look, these may look fairly similar. I think the Bella actually is a fair bit larger than the Slowstar, which means more surface area to clean. I think it almost like fits in there. Another thing is that the Slowstar actually has a nice handle. This does not have a handle on it, and they're pretty much a similar design. The one thing I want to point out is that on the Bella, the pulp comes out right through here and makes a nice right angle turn, and then it has to come out here, and there is no what's called a pulp flap. And actually they have that flap on the Slowstar, which is right here. You can see it out the bottom. We can pull this out, and this is basically a silicone flap that actually keeps pressure on the pulp to keep it in the machine to get fully extracted before it lets it out. So what this means is you're going to get a drier pulp. In addition, on the Slowstar, the top where the pulp comes out is actually cut out, so this allows you to help push some of the produce out, and there is not such a device on the Bella here. Next bit down to the motor body. We're going to go ahead and pick the motor body up. Wow, this is actually quite heavy. This is rated at 200 watts according to the bottom, although online there's some different ratings from 150 to 160 watts, and the Slowstar is also 200 watts. Another thing about the base is I want to show you guys this real quick is the plugs. We're going to go ahead and unplug this here. Now the plug on the Bella is actually a 2-prong, so that means it is not grounded. That may have challenges with electrical shocks and whatnot. So this is a safer cord because it has the grounding, the 3-prong here. And also the cord appears to be a lot thicker and heavier duty. Once again, I don't need to remind you guys that, this is pretty much always true. You guys get what you pay for. You pay less for a juicer, it's not going to be as good. And will it work as well? I don't know. We'll see that in a minute once we start assembling and get these guys up and juicing. Another thing I want to point out on the body itself is the button. There's a 3-position button. It's on the top, off in the middle, and reverse on the bottom. And this is just a standard button. If you should drip water in here, this may not be a good thing because this is not a covered switch. Over here on the Slowstar, they've thought of everything. They have actually this as a little covered button here, so no water is going to get in there, so it's going to be safer. While we're still talking about the motor, another thing I want to talk about is the warranty. For me, a long warranty on a juicer is very important, and I'm actually happy that the Bella has a 5-year warranty, which is quite long. A lot of juicers being imported from China may have like a short 90-day or just 1-year warranty. This one actually has a 5-year warranty, which I'm actually quite happy about. But on the other hand, the Slowstar juicer has a 10-year warranty, so that's twice as long on the warranty. So literally, 9 years later, this guy breaks down due to manufacturer defect. You call the manufacturer up, which has been an established company in the United States, selling juicers and other health appliances for many years now. They're definitely going to take care of you. Now the Bella NutriPro, Bella has been in business for a while and making a lot of different small appliances like toasters and other things, so that's probably a good company too, but I think the Tribest company focuses on, you know, higher end appliances that allow you to get healthier, and they've been doing this for quite a while. And you know, they make high quality products in my opinion. So I think the warranty is a little bit more solid with Tribest and the Slowstar. So the next thing I want to show you guys, the collection cups. Both juicers come with collection cups, pretty much two of the same. They're basically both will measure out 1 quart. On the Bella here, basically you pour out one of the sides here, and on the Slowstar it has actually a little pouring spout. So they're pretty much, for all practical purposes, the same. I guess with that, let's go ahead and reassemble the machines. Once again, you need to assemble the machines properly or they will not turn on. They both have safety interlock switches. Gonna put the main bowl on first, then the auger goes in this guy first, and then you put the screen on, like that, locks into place. On the Slowstar, once again, we're gonna take the main body here, put this on, rotate it into place. We're gonna line up the little white dot with the white dot on the top here, locks into place. Then we're gonna take the auger, and finally the top. Really simple, real easy. These guys are really simple and easy to assemble once you do it once. I mean, just like any appliance, I always recommend you guys read the instruction manual and be sure to check my other videos for specific assembly and disassembly and cleaning tips. Let's go ahead and assemble the Bella here. Alright, that's all ready to go. So now we got the juicers all set up and ready to go, and now we need to do the weigh-in. What we're juicing today are some baby cucumbers, some romaine hearts, and some carrots, and we got 2.5 pounds of produce in each machine. So let's go ahead and show you guys the close-up on the weigh-in. Over on this side we got the NutriPro. Once again, 2.5 pounds. That's approximately 1 pound of cucumbers, 1 pound of carrots, and about 1/2 pound of the leafy greens. Over to the other side here, we got the Slowstar juicer, and it's produce here. Once again, 1 pound on the cucumbers, 1 pound on the carrots, and about 1/2 pound on the leafy greens. And once again, that's 2.5 pounds. So with that, we got an even weight. We're gonna start juicing in both machines. Now before I start juicing in the vertical single auger style juicers, it's very important you follow proper procedures when juicing in the vertical single augers, or frankly, any juicer. It's always best to rotate hard produce items like carrots, which we did cut in half for easier feeding, and the softer things like the leafy greens and the cucumbers. So we're going to do what I call a rotation. We're going to put a little cucumber, a little leafy greens, and a little carrot, and just continue until they're all juiced up. One of the features I like about the vertical single auger juice is that in general you may not have to use the pusher as much or at all, depending on the juicer. I have both pushers here in case I will need them. But with that, let's just get started and see what happens. Go ahead and try to turn on both juicers same time, and we're going to take basically one produce item at a time in each juicer. We're going to take one cucumber, drop it in both machines, see what the heck happens. Then we're going to go ahead and take one leaf on that side, one leaf on this side. As you can see, we're getting juice already out of the Bella, and we're getting some juice out of the Slowstar. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to just take a piece of carrot and push that in there, and let's see if it auto feeds in. So actually on the Slowstar it's auto feeding, on the Bella it's also auto feeding. The Bella was a little bit louder on that. I guess we're going to go ahead and continue, and another cucumber in here and another cucumber in here. Once again, after feeding each produce item in, you want to give the juicer some time to work and not just immediately shove in the next item. This will allow for a better juicing in the different juicers. Alright, so we're getting a little bit of a backup in the Slowstar, so we're going to use a pusher to help push that through a little bit. Also in the Bella, it's not going in too well. Sometimes I do recommend you pre-cut your leafy greens when juicing in these style machines. Go ahead and go for another cucumber in both machine. Right in. Alright, so this is going to take a little bit of time, so I'm probably going to come back at you when I've probably got about half it done, and I'll go ahead and share with you guys my opinions on how it's all going. Alright, so I was feeding the carrot into the Bella, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. So when this happens, this is because either you're feeding things in too fast or the juicer just cannot handle, you know, the hard carrot in there. So when this happens, what you need to do is turn it off and then hit reverse for a second, and then go ahead and continue to turn it on. And you can hear the juicer kind of working a little bit hard to grind up all that carrot and put it through. Now I'm not having any issues with feeding things into the Slowstar. It hasn't stopped once at all. That being said, I have had to use the pusher a bunch of times feeding the same exact items in, and I really haven't had to use the pusher on the Bella here. Let's go ahead and continue to feed in some cucumbers and the rest of the produce into these juicers. All right, let's feed another carrot into the machine. We'll feed one carrot in each machine. We're just gonna simply take each carrot and drop them in. All right, looks like they're both doing all right. It's shoving out the carrot really fast, right through, and that's once again, the Bella does not have that little flap to keep the pulp in to get it drier. So it'll be interesting to see once we get done and we weigh out the pulp to see the differences. So far, so good. While you may think that the Bella is winning on this side because it looks like there's more juice, this actually juice pitcher is a little more narrow and taller. So it may have that effect on people. Let's go ahead and continue to put some more leafy greens in each machine. Follow that once again with a cucumber. So we're just about done juicing. We got 3 more items of juice. Let's see, I think I'll first put in the, why don't we put in the romaine. So we got the little romaine hearts. We're gonna just go ahead and put these in whole right in the machine to see how they handle them. We probably will need to use the pusher on that a little bit. All right, no problem in both machines. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take each carrot, once again, drop them right in. And once again, they're juicing pretty good. Finally, the last cucumber in each machine. Drop them right in. And it looks like it's auto-feeding in the Bella. And it looks like it pretty much got auto-fed into the Slowstar juicer. Now I want to remind you guys that when you're juicing in the vertical single auger juicers, they all call it slow juicers. They're fairly quiet, and also they run at a low RPM. So they do take a little bit of time. They're not going to be done instantly right after you're done juicing. You're going to have to let it run another 30 seconds or so once you're done juicing to allow the rest of the pulp to come out and the rest of the juice come out. If you turn it off prematurely, and I don't like doing anything prematurely, then you may be losing some juice, if you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and turn these guys off here. And once I turn each one off, what I like to do is I like to basically take the juicer and tip it up, and there will be some leftover residual juice in the machine. And we'll shake that out a little bit, get it out of the Bella here, and then once again, on the Slowstar, got a nice easy handle here. We can pick this up and tip this up to get the rest of the juice out. Let's go ahead and move our scales in, because what we're going to do next is weigh out the pulp. So we're going to go ahead and get these scales right in the middle here. Turn them on. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these big bowls on, one on each scale. Then we're going to go ahead and hit the tare button. And it looks like they're both reading at 0 now, so they're both even. Now we're going to weigh out the pulp. So here's the Bella pulp first, going right into the, on top of the, into the scale. Tap all this extra pulp out. Now I do want to remind you guys that there is still residual pulp in the machine that we are not removing, so keep that in mind. Next, we're going to go ahead and put the pulp in from the Slowstar. And as you can see, the weights. So over on the Slowstar side, looks like we got about 1 pound or 1.024 pounds of pulp. And over on the Bella side, we got 1.116. So, you know, that is definitely more weight in the pulp. More weight in the pulp definitely means more juice left in the pulp. Let's go ahead and next pick the pulp up. And this one, look at this. I could squeeze out whole bunch of juice out of that pulp there. Let's go check it out on the Slowstar side. Pick this up. So while there is some juice coming out, not quite coming out as much or as fast. So yes, even the Slowstar did leave some juice in the pulp. Now all juicers, for the most part, will leave some juice in the pulp unless you're using something like a Norwalk press, which gets the pulp sawdust dry. The one thing I want to remind you guys is that when your pulp is wet, and actually to me, the Bella pulp is significantly wet. I mean, look at that. I could squeeze out a lot of juice out of that pulp, and not so much in the Slowstar juicer. When you're leaving juice in the pulp and it's unjuiced, you're literally throwing money down the drain. So, you know, by investing in a juicer that maybe gets more yield out now, it's going to save you money in the long run. So, you know, besides just the pulp weight, The next thing we're going to do is check out the juice yield, because that's what really counts. Let's go ahead and move these scales aside and move in our collection cups. So before I share with you guys which juicer yielded more juice, I want to show you guys actually what is left in the juicer, because this is important. We didn't account for some of the extra weight, and I want to show you guys actually the parts you'll need to clean. So on the Bella, you basically take it apart and there's no pulp left in this area. Next, the screen comes out, and I want to show you guys this screen here. This screen has lots of pulp residue in it, and this may actually restrict the yield, because if the screen gets full of pulp like this, then the juice is not going to be flowing out the machine. So that's definitely not good. This is a direct result because it does not have an automatic wiping blade. In addition, you can see inside the machine there are some pieces, of cucumber that literally just did not get juiced and was stuck on the machine, maybe due to the not so tight tolerances. In addition, if we go to pull this auger out, which actually it's kind of stuck in here, wow. This is like, it's got some suction. I can't, with all my strength, pull it out. Okay, there, it finally came out. Man, it's got some stuck underneath there and it's hard to pull out. So that's definitely not a good thing. I mean, once again, you guys get what you pay for. And we got pulp underneath this machine. In addition, we got, whole pieces of cucumber skin that did not get juice. Let's go ahead and take this bowl off, and we could show you guys in there. Here's just a lot of the residual pulp left in the bowl that's actually not flowing out, the pulp collection spout there. Next, let's move over to the Slowstar juicer side and see this more refined product. Once again, we're gonna go ahead and turn this out. And let's see, on the bottom there, we don't really have too much. Next, let's go ahead and pull out the auger on the Slowstar. Once again, it comes out real easy. And unlike the Bella, that was actually hard to pull out. And as you can see here, there's not a whole lot of pulp left on this auger. There's just, some fine pieces of pulp in there. And on the bottom there, yes, there is definitely some pulp in the bottom, but it's all pretty much finely ground up pulp there. We're gonna go ahead and set that aside. Next, let's take a look at the screen here. Pull this screen out, and as you can see on this screen, the wiping blade did an amazing job, because we're not seeing too much pulp, stuck in the screen. Once again, if we take that Bella screen to show you guys and compare, look at that. Look at the big difference. Look at all the pulp stuck in the holes of the screen. That's going to, number one, be harder for you to clean out, because it's just literally ground in there. And on the Slowstar, we did not have that at all. Once again, we're going to go ahead and look on the inside of the Slowstar, and yes, there's absolutely some pulp left over. But I'm not seeing any big, large pieces like was in the Bella of unjuiced produce. It looks like it got it out all pretty good. Next, of course, is we got the automatic wiping blade that was doing its job. And yes, it's a little bit dirty. This is one extra part you'll have to clean up, that's not in the Bella. But I think, cleaning one extra part is definitely worth it, because it's going to make yours easier to clean your screen out. Next, let's go ahead and look at the bowl on the Slowstar. As you can see here, there's a whole bunch of, pulp left, but not significantly less than on the Bella. And oh my gosh, check this out. I screwed up, gotta admit it. I'm not perfect. I forgot to include or push this in, because I showed you guys this. I forgot to push this back in. Once again, this is the pulp flap that keeps pressure or back pressure on the machine to allow the pulp only to come out when it's fully dry or more dry. So this will definitely impact the yield that we're getting in the Slowstar. So, with this in, we probably would have got a higher yield, but I left this out, and even with it out, it looks like it still made more juice than the Bella. So next, let's go ahead and show you guys the yield results. So now first, let's go ahead and check out the Bella juice. Here it is in the Bella container. It looks like it produced, I don't know, probably 575 milliliters of juice. And let's go ahead and pour this juice right in through our sieve into our Pyrex measuring cup. And as I pour this, you're gonna see actually, wow, there's a fair bit of pulp, being poured out and collected by the strainer. Wow. Even at the bottom, there's definitely a lot of pulp. We're gonna go ahead and tap this down to get all the little juice out. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take the Slowstar juicer and take the juice it created. And on this juicer, let's see what it created approximately. According to this, it made, let's see, 400, 500 about. On this, it made about a little bit over 600 milliliters of juice. So I think that's like 50 more milliliters Let's go ahead and pour this in. Once again, pour it out the little spout there. And check it out. As I pour this out, I mean, this is literally making a virtually pulp-free juice. And as it's straining out through the strainer, we're not catching hardly any pulp. Oh, there's a whole bunch there at the end there. Once again, we're going to go ahead and tap this out. And check it out, if I hold both these guys up, you could really see the difference on there. Get that in one shot there. I mean, there's at least over, I'd say, 3 times as much pulp created in the Bella. So, you know, if you like a thicker, pulpier juice, then the Bella is going to be your man. But if you like a thinner juice without the pulp, you know, then you're going to want the Slowstar. Of course, on either juicer, you could always get a little strainer sieve like this and filter out the excess pulp. Now, on the Slowstar, it does come with a high quality stainless steel sieve to strain your juice out. The Bella does not include one, or at least the package that I got did not include one. So we're going to go ahead and tap this down here, and next we're going to go ahead and check the specific juice yields on both machines. So let's check the results. Going down to both the bowls here on the table, you'll see the differences. And as you can see, the Slowstar made more juice. It made approximately 600 milliliters of juice, and over on the Bella side it made about 540 milliliters of juice. So that means the Slowstar made about 60 milliliters more, which is about 10% more. Now the other thing that's very interesting, I don't know if you guys could see that, but the color is a little bit different on both these machines. The color looks to be, you know, a little bit more orangish on the Bella for some reason. Is that because it extracted more juice from the carrots but not from the cucumbers or the leaves? I'm not exactly sure. So wow, you guys just saw that even with the pulp flap out, the Slowstar juicer beat the Bella by 10%. Now if I had the pulp flap in, I can only estimate how much more juice the Slowstar would have made. Would have made probably 20 to 25% more. You know, I'd say that's a pretty good guess on how much it would have done, because I have used the Slowstar and saw how much better it worked, and I was surprised it actually didn't do quite as well. But that's the reason why. So if you're juicing in the vertical slow juicers that have a flap, you want to make sure you push it in, otherwise it's not going to get the highest yield out for you. Despite me using the juicer improperly and not putting it in, it still beat the Bella. So that's just a testament to the power and how good this juicer is designed and works. So once again, you know, I want to remind you guys, you know, you guys get what you pay for. If you're paying less for a product that's been knocked off than the original ones that were originally made in Korea, and this one is made in Korea, you know, you're going to get what you pay for. So I always encourage you guys to do your research, read reviews, watch my videos where I compare all different kinds of juicers against each other so that you can find the best juicer that's going to be the best fit for you. The last thing I want to mention about the Slowstar that I didn't mention earlier is that it does come with a whole homogenizing attachment that's included that allows you to make things like banana sorbets and nut butters, pâtés and sauces. And while you can do those functions in the Bella, that's, you know, not an included attachment to do that. So it may actually get a fair bit messier, just like it was in juicing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. This is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. And today's episode is like me being in a candy store when I was a kid. I no longer eat candy, but a kid in a candy store is like, wow, they're so excited. And I'm really excited today to share this brand new juicer with you. It's actually made by Tribest. It's called the Slowstar juicer, and Tribest makes other juicers such as the Green Star juicer, the Green Star Elite juicer. They've also brought you the Solo Star juicer, the manual